Go to item number 3, discuss the resolution concerning the landfill expansion program.
Good evening. Brad Green with Raymond James, glad to be here. There's certainly a lot of exciting things going on, and we are grateful to be a small part of it. I have given y'all 2 handouts. I know these look familiar to you, and not to go into a tremendous amount of detail, but this is a printout of all the debt that the city has that's long-term debt, and it's broken out into the various portions of repayment from the city's general fund to the Board of Education, Park and Rec, and IDB. So the main takeaway from here is just, I've kept the fiscal year 17 and 18 debt service on there so you can have an idea of what those payments are. And then as we go to this other sheet here, you can see what your payments are going to be after this new is layered into there. So, you have been paying about 1.6 million in debt service. It's kind of dropped down to 1.5 on this other sheet here. And then it drops to $1.1 million. So after the 2009 solid waste issue, it pays off this year. We're going to come back in. You can see on this one page the solid waste disposal under the existing city debt. The payments are about $350,000. And so as you move to the right, this box in the green that says SWDA on the top, you can see that the total payments on the $3 million is $350,000. So we extend that out to get you the $3 million, and then there's $1.5 million for the general fund that will kind of come in behind that. And over to the very far right, where it says total overall debt service, you can see there that the payments are in that $1.5 million range, and then they drop down to about 1.4, which is the targets that we were kind of going after, even after this additional debt. Since you had some other things that were paying off, we're kind of coming in and filling in the gaps here to get you the $4.5 million. And this might be a little confusing. This will be one issue. This will be one bond issue for Rick's purposes, and I think budgeting purposes. The solid waste has kind of tried to carry its own, and so we're going to give him a schedule for the solid waste and the general fund. However, it will be one combined issue. That was a real quick overview. I'm happy to take questions. The council, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kennery, you guys have adopted a reimbursement resolution. So as Ms. Ivy stated, if there are fees involved with these projects that, come up, you can reimburse yourself once the bond issue closes for those fees. And that's just an IRS regulation. So,
Anyone have any questions for Brad?
So the total amount on the bonds is $4.5 million, is that right?
that's correct.
Yes.
And also, we can, if this doesn't suit you, we've just been talking to Rick and kind of what he's comfortable with, and so that's kind of how we backed into this structure. If there's something you want to, look at, we're happy to go back to the drawing board.
So tonight we're looking at just making all the underwriters for the line.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we could go back and change the amount if need be, after we make this resolution.
That's correct.
This is necessary in the project.
Authorizes him to move forward at this point.
Y'all let me off easy.
Can't let you. Go to item number 4, discuss the truck routes and signage. We discussed this a couple of times. I've had several phone calls, I guess, over the past few months about just some better signage would help. There was something out on Highway 72, just some suggestions, and then also signage above Cecil Road would help, in their opinion. And I just wanted to bring it up for discussion on that. I drive Porter Road every single day, and I follow, probably out of 5 days that I work, probably follow a Maples truck 3 out of 5, sometimes every day. And I will say they do not exceed the speed limit. And when you're following an 18-wheeler, it feels as though you're going to get passed by some kid on a bicycle. But they don't. I have not seen that. We still have those speed digital monitors up. But I just think that we need to discuss this and get the truck routes, because we're still seeing them downtown. I think that's the primary goal, is to get them from residential areas, keep them from getting in there, and that would, I think the signing would go a long way. I know we discussed it one at a time, Mayor.
Correct.
Go ahead. Well, I was just wondering how many areas we was looking at, and what kind, I know you got some calls before, Mayor.
Yes. One of the things as far as, and I don't think anybody's here from the electric power board, but there is, Philip and I have had multiple conversations about this, and there's an insurance or a liability issue as far as the signage being suspended, or even banners. People have asked in the past, liability issue from their standpoint as far as banners or signage being stretched over Broad Street. I'll revisit that and make sure what their status is as far as some sort of lit sign. I know we have had some discussions about the company that makes these, that Your Speed is, whatever they're called. And they offer some custom signs that can be lit and done along Broad Street as far as that. I think as far as the highway though, we'd have to do a resolution or something requesting the state highway to add some signage on the highway as far as trucks turn here or don't turn there, type thing.
Or what roads you use or whatever.
Yes, sir. Yeah. But I'll follow up with Philip about Broad Street. You know, it may be that we have to, I don't think they were that expensive. I know we've got signs that have a truck with, you know, an emblem on there on Hayes and Chappelle and those streets down through there, but I don't know how effective or not. I don't think they're very effective, I'll put it that way.
Once they get past Parks, they're in no man's land.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to turn down
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte or somewhere like that, I guess, because that thing starts screaming out when we
Exactly.
get out. We just need to get them from
Oh, yeah.
Parks back before they ever, and hopefully we're looking at the bridge tonight too, so. Anybody else have any input or feedback? Thanks, Mayor.
Yes.
Go to item number 5, discuss the resolution to approve bids for Cloverdale Road property. Ms. Phillips, will you cover that, please?
We solicited for bids on the West Cloverdale Road property. We posted one bid, mailed one bid, and received 2 bids for the property. Charles Kilo bid $3,550.61. And Billy Womack bid $16,100. And it's recommended that the bid be awarded to Billy Womack.
We'll put that on tonight's agenda. Brad, I'm sorry, we're putting you on tonight's agenda as well.
It means you have to pass something.
Go to item number 6, discuss the bid, resolution to approve the bid for Parks Avenue. Let's go, let's cover that.
We posted one bid, mailed 5 bids, and received 2 bids for the Parks Avenue Bridge rehabilitation. Lambert Contracting bid $517,850, and Miller & Miller Inc. bid $807,500. It's recommended that the bid be awarded to Lambert Contracting.
Josh, on that $517,850 one, just to clarify that we'll hold and maintain with it, right?
It will, yes. The difference in that is just the materials and the risk as far as utility relocation, those 2 bids. One's a concrete structure, one's aluminum box culvert.
Okay.
Is the longevity about the same with these two?
It's not, but it'll get us out of here.
So we're talking how many years difference between the two?
Probably looking at 25, 4-year difference between the 2. You know, the concrete structure probably looking at 100-year, probably the box culvert, aluminum probably looking at 75-year. So we're not like to worry about that.
All right. We'll put that on tonight.
I got another
Oh, I'm sorry.
question. Oh, wait, another question. As far as the utilities, are we gonna have to have those moved, or is that?
That's the risk that was in the bid, you know, it was a design bid proposal. And we're doing everything, you know, we're having a meeting tomorrow with Lambert to look at that, but the proposal is not to move any utilities. Now, the one that's the $807,000, they had their proposal did include utility relocation in it.
What it would do?
That's the risk that the contractor's taking.
Well, that's why Roy's sitting out there, and hate to call
I
him.
mean, Roy's back there hiding.
They're participating quite heavily in this project because
I don't think they'll run that price up.
Sir?
It'll run it up a lot. We have to do that.
Yeah, but this is a design build, it's not a unit cost.
Yeah.
So this is a lock and key price.
Okay.
What's not included in this price though is the asphalt. That's something we'll have to come back and resurface that.
Anything else? Okay. I did say we were putting that on tonight. Go to item number 7, discuss resolution to approve the bid for paving. Ms. Phillips.
We posted 1 bid, mailed 3 bids, and received 2 bids for the annual paving. You can see we've attached Wiregrass Construction bid and Reed Contracting Services bid, and all of their unit prices are attached. It's recommended that the bid be awarded to Wiregrass Construction based on the lowest average of the 2.
Okay. We'll have that on tonight's agenda as well.
Josh, can you explain that lowest average, looking at this?
I believe I gave Whitney the wrong, the one that says Reed should be Wiregrass, one that says Wiregrass should be Reed. What we did, this is the unit cost, just say we're paving Market Street, if the contractor uses 100 tons of wiring service to be paid at the unit cost they put in. So what we did, we averaged out the 9 items, and Wiregrass was about $3 cheaper per unit cost than Reed contracting.
Any other questions? We'll add it on tonight's agenda, don't go anywhere. Go to item number 8, discuss budget amendment for Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce. Phillips, or Larry?
Yes. Each year, the city participates with the Chamber of Commerce on their total resource campaign. And in the past, when Mayor Potter was here, he had he had a larger travel budget than I. His was 10,000, and then mine got cut to 6. But in the past, this was just paid out of Mayor Potter's, travel budget. And, as you can see here, the total resource campaign for the Montgomery trip is $500 sponsorship, and the Washington fly-in is $1,500, so that's $2,000. And then, Rick had asked for some additional funds for the upcoming Montgomery trip, which is another $3,000. And so what I'm asking is that we just do a straight out budget amendment, since we're in the middle of the fiscal year, for $2,300 for the chamber, so that $2,000 can go back to my personal travel account. So, nothing against the chamber, Rick, but I'd rather it just come out of the, because it's not in the mayor's name that we do these things, it's in the city of Scottsboro, so I'm just trying to save some of my travel.
Any questions? We'll add that to tonight's agenda as well.
Thank you.
That covers all of our work session, so give you at least 5 minutes to get everything moved over.